Hey everyone, it's Dennis Wood here from Cinevate, and we're here today to introduce you to Modo-Rover, which is yet another accessory in the Modo line that's going to help you get some really cool time-lapse and table dolly sequences without a lot of complication. So here we go. The first thing to understand about Modo-Rover, as you see assembled, is that there's kind of two flavors. So when you order it, the Modo-Rover, this is the table dolly, if you like, assembled and ready to accept Modo. If you already have Modo, the good news is that you just order the table dolly, which is going to be the least expensive package on that page. And when you get the unit, all you're going to have to do is put the axles on. So I'll just really quickly, you'll see that we have some nice little kipping fasteners. You're going to have an axle. It's CNC machined aluminum, 6061, which is anodized. So it's a strong and very well built device. We're using stainless fasteners throughout, and we've got some nice Cinevate branded dolly wheels, which is kind of cool. And assembly essentially is this. Now, while we have it sort of stripped down, I can show you that if you would like to take off our uprights here, which normally Modo is going to slide into, like so. If you'd like to take those off and just use this strictly as a table dolly, one of the things that's kind of cool is that you can quickly drop one of these out. I'll just show you how this upright comes off. It's real quick. And you can see that the hole is offset so that it only goes in one way. But if you do pull these uprights out, you'll notice that there's a 1/4-20 hole here, and there's a 1/4-20 hole here and here. So there's basically 5 different choices that you could mount a small ball head. Or we're providing with the Modo-Rover our accessory mount, which is a super cool little piece. You can use it to mount any 1/4-20 accessory just about anywhere, but the reason we send it here is that you can quickly, as an example, if I want to throw the accessory mount on the back axle, I can then mount my camera to the 1/4-20 thread here, or I can use our GoPro mount or our iPhone mount. So this is a very versatile system. You can see you can mount this in 5 different locations. Normally though, if you're not just getting a table dolly shot, and you'll see in the video, we have some great little table dolly shots of using this thing in real time. But the magic happens when you get into time-lapse mode, especially if you already own Modo system. So what we like to use here is our Modo 30-minute motor. And that is going to work best because it just gives you a little more speed. You can also use the 60 in here, but I'll tell you that all the video, everything you see in our launch video is shot with the 30-minute. And you can see, if you look at the very top of a motor, there's a tiny little number there that's lasered in. It will either say 30 or 60. So it's the 30-minute motor that we have on here. And to do a time lapse, you'll see it's painfully simple. You pretty much wind this up, drop Modo in, and then you can mount your camera in a lot of different locations. Or you can actually go right into the 1/4-20 thread on the Modo itself, which is kind of cool. It's a CNC machine cube, so it's heavy. It's basically 6061 aluminum like the rest of it. So you can go ahead and thread into this Modo body with confidence. And then we have this tensioning fastener up here, and you're just going to snug this up. And that's going to secure the cube in place. Now, one of the hot tips here, if you are dealing with some uneven surfaces, like say a hardwood floor, you kind of want to leave this cube with a little bit of play. You'll see as I tighten this, the cube will become immobile. And the reason that you may want to just slack it off a little bit to leave a little bit of play is so that the cube can actually ride up and down with imperfections if there are any in the floor. They may be very small, but this is a really rigid unit. In table dolly mode, we've tested a 5D with it's about a 6.5 pound load. So we're talking pretty heavy load that it's capable of. Obviously you could actually put more weight on here if you're just in table dolly mode with a ball head. But for time lapse purposes, 5-6 pounds is going to be your limit. So there you have the Modo in its installed configuration on Rover. When you purchase the standard Modo-Rover kit, you're going to get the accessory mount and you're going to get the dolly itself, the cube itself. If you already have one, obviously you don't need it, but if you order the complete kit, then you'll have all the bits you see here in my hands. So the first thing you're going to want to do, if you are mounting any small camera, all cameras will have that 1/4 thread mount at the bottom of them for the tripod, and you'll see our accessory mount has that. So as far as small cameras go, like the A7S or even the 5D that we were testing, you're going to go straight into the bottom of the camera with this. And the trick is you can actually remove, if you like, you can remove this ball completely from the accessory clamp, and you can leave that in the bottom of your device so it comes separate. So in the bottom of any 1/4 thread, this happens to be our mount kit for GoPro and iPhone, but it has a 1/4 thread, same as your camera. So you can just thread that in and snug it up. You can actually snug it up on the clamp. Just be careful not to over tighten it. And at that point, what you're gonna have is your camera instead of my little mount mounted to our accessory. And if you do want to get some more reach, so if you want more versatility to get outboard or low, we sell a product called Gripstics in different lengths. So a Gripstick will go right into this 1/4 thread and let you get the camera low or inverted, say you want a ground scraper shot, that sort of thing. So it's a really handy little accessory. You'll see it on the product page available with the kit. But we were going to talk about mounting up a GoPro, and you can see I'm kind of halfway there because I've actually taken our accessory mount and I've just screwed the 1/4 thread from the accessory mount into this carrier. And that carrier will just take the GoPro mount that's part of that kit. You can slide it in, and you can just slide it and leave it. I'll just pull this out and actually throw it in with the GoPro, but that's our little piece. It's got a bit of a dovetail profile you see on the bottom, and that's what keeps it from sliding out. It also lets you adjust this anywhere you'd like along this bed, and then you can go ahead and tighten it up as you see fit. So in time-lapse mode, what I'm going to do is just imagine it's set up like this, and you can go ahead and set up your circle radius. We'll just throw this fastener in the top here to snug Modo, the engine if you like, which again requires no power and no programming. It's pretty simple. And I'll set the radius of my turn. In this case, I'm going to use an outboard turn, and I'm going to remember these are kipping fasteners. So I can set my turn, and in this case, snug up like so. This would be a pretty good setup for GoPro doing an outside radius. You can hear the winding, which is the Moto Cube winding up. Now, it's a good point actually while we're talking about this, that if you're using Modo-Rover, the way that you should wind this up is actually lift up, we'll just turn around here for a better view, is you actually want to lift up the cube, and I'm just going to lock it up. You can see at this point it's not touching the ground at all. So this is just a table dolly right now. But I want to wind it up until you feel some resistance, and then you're done. So the proper wind up on the Moto Cube is as I just demonstrated. The reason you want to wind it all the way up is that it's going to have the most power and the longest reach. So this is going to run for about an hour and a half actually. It'll keep going in circles or whatever. If you have a longer radius distance you want to go, then it will cover that. So as a point of reference, in about half an hour, you're going to cover around 2 feet or so. And you can just experiment, you'll find out very quickly, but that's a good rule of thumb. So we'll just go over the iPhone mount assembly. If you have the GoPro piece here, then you know how to put the GoPro bit on. We've covered that. But at this point, the iPhone mount is kind of it's a carryover from our Morpheus product, and it'll take pretty much any iPhone. It's adjustable, so you can see how I've slid these folks in and out. And we've got these little Allen keys, or Allen set screws. And there's a little key provided that you can set this. And the reason we do that is sort of like you're gonna set this up for your iPhone and then you're gonna likely forget it. So you just leave this set up. But we put these here so that you can snug up the Allen screw. And what that does is it locks these into play. So I've got an iPhone 6 Plus here in my pocket. I happen to know that at full spread here, we're probably about good. So, and you can see I've adjusted this a little too small for my phone here. And obviously, I probably want my camera forward, it doesn't really matter. And I can just loosen these, expand this out a little bit, and then we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna expand this out. And what you wanna do is set it up so that it's snug on your phone. And why? Well, you don't want your phone to fall out. You can also just put your phone into place, you know, get a rough idea of where it's gonna sit. And again, I've got this rubber case on mine. So I'm actually gonna, because these are plastic, I'm gonna actually spread this apart a little bit, and then I'll slide these guys up. Just forgive me, but you'll see this piece slides and it's there to stay out of the way. You can see it kind of will let you get have access to the home button on your iPhone there. Or you can adjust it down, but in this case, I'm gonna adjust it up. This is actually a pretty good width for my iPhone. It's nice and tight. So these are polymer pieces, they're not aluminum. So once you snug them up, they'll actually flex a little bit, and flexing is good. So I'm just gonna open this up a teeny tiny bit, move this a teeny tiny bit in, and we're pretty much good to go. So don't over tighten these, just to contact, and then these are gonna be fixed in place. And at this point, you should be able to turn your phone upside down and not have it fall out. If it's loose to the point where it's falling out, then you wanna just readjust that. But you'll see at this point, although it's very hard to see, you can see that I do have access to the charge port, depending on which way my phone's in here. And I have a case on it. And if I give it one of these, it's not falling out, which is great. So that's all really you need to know in terms of using this thing for your iPhone. The kind of cool thing is that if you happen to like iPhone photography and you're looking for ways to mount your phone, well, we just gave you one because there's a 1/4-20 mount here, a 1/4-20 thread. So any 1/4-20 tripod head or any mount device will now be holding onto your phone. So there you go. That's the GoPro and the iPhone mount integrated with our Modo-Rover. So I hope you have fun with it. We'd love to see the footage you post. You just have to tag hashtag Cinevate on Instagram or any of those other social media outlets that you use. And we'll be happy to share. Love to see what kind of stuff you create here with Modo-Rover.